All right, guys, we are still in Dallas for the Women's Final Four, and we are very, very happy to have Coach Neil Harrow.
Yes.
From Troy University. He's the assistant coach over there. He's got a phenomenal story. He's originally from Scotland, so don't worry about his accent.
Right.
Then he coached in Spain. He was a GA at Valdosta State, and now the main guy at Troy University besides his head coach. Coach, how you doing, man?
Great. How are you?
Good. Well, I want to tell listen, I think your story is unbelievable. We've been friends for a while. I've known you. You have done a tremendous job getting into Division I women's basketball. Talk real quickly on how you got from point A to point B to where you are.
Gosh, a lot of luck, hard work, and right place, right time, I think, which is a lot of stuff that you need. So went from Scotland, real quick, the condensed version. Went from Scotland, knew that I wanted to pursue, big dreams, so I tried to get to Spain.
Okay.
Tried to get to the States.
Mm-hmm.
But the easiest way for me to do that was to study. So I went to Valdosta State for a semester as an exchange student, came back to Scotland, finished my degree. Then I moved to Spain to play, realised pretty quick I wasn't very good.
Right, that's all of us.
Okay. And got into coaching. I knew I wanted to coach eventually, but I thought I might be able to play for a little while. That didn't work out real good.
Right.
So I had to learn the language because I didn't speak a word. Okay. So that was a big challenge, definitely a big challenge. But I knew it was something I had to do. They told me, if you want to coach, you have to speak Spanish. So I was an assistant first. Then I was fortunate enough to be a head coach at the youth level in Barcelona on the boys' side. Assistant coach for under 21 men.
Right.
We were very fortunate in all those aspects. I was fortunate enough to be on winning teams, championship teams every year. And then kept in touch with the head coach, Kylie Hill.
Okay.
At the time, he's no longer at Valdosta State, but a great guy. Kept in touch with him. He gave me a job as a GA. I was a grad assistant at Valdosta State for 2 years. And then I met my current boss, Shanda Rigby, who's also awesome, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
At the Final Four 2 years ago. I never met her in my life.
Yes.
I sat down with her and Kayla Ard.
Yeah.
And we had breakfast together at the FCA breakfast.
Okay.
Complete coincidence. It was fitting that it was an FCA breakfast because I was first out. I was standing at the back of the service and I was first out and in the room next we were having breakfast and there was 30 tables or something. So I chose a table and it was empty. And for some really strange reason I got up, left an empty table and sat at the next empty table. No one was there. Really strange. This
Empty
is me.
to empty.
Empty to empty. I'm a little strange. So, something in the back of your mind just now and again tells you, no, you need to sit there, you need to sit there.
Right.
So next thing, this lady sits down, and Kayla sits down. Right. I get to talking to Kayla. Of course, I'm job searching, but I don't know who these people are. I'm from Scotland. I don't really know who they are.
Yeah.
So, long story short, we get to eating breakfast, and we talk for 20, 30 minutes, and Coach Rigby introduced herself. She says, I'm hiring. Why don't you come? Let's talk a little more. And that turned into a 4-week process of talking and interviewing and me bugging her until she gave me a job.
Right.
And here we are, 2 years later.
Now, I tell you, from that drive, that wanting to get after, right? Because I know we met, you stopped me at the Women's Final Four. I didn't know who you were. I was like, who is this guy coming to talk to me? So we talked, so we developed a relationship, but there's something inside of you, and is it something that because you were raised, or your family, or the different cultures, or whatever, where does that come from?
That's a good question, really good question. Gosh, I think I'm a big believer in that everything that happens to you drives you, makes who you are.
Right.
So I don't think it's one thing or another. I think it's a collection of everything. When you're growing up, you're a little insecure and you would like to change that. I'd like to be taller. I'd like to do this. I'd like to do that. I'd like to be better looking.
Taller.
Me too.
And better looking.
Story of my life. But you get to a stage where you understand that everything that happens to you and everything that you are, good and bad, makes who you are.
Right.
And I think sometimes that makes us good coaches because we understand. Especially if you're not, especially if you're not this whatever society tells you need to look like, or be like, or act like, or. So I think that definitely helps us. It's definitely the fact that my father is, was a cop. He was a police officer for 30 years, and super hardworking guy. Just a provider, just a great, tough but family first guy. And you don't realize when you're growing up, but. His work ethic, I think, rubbed off on me. You just saw it every day.
Yeah.
He was a guy that went to work and his uniform was absolutely perfect. He ironed his uniform every day, and he was a professional and extremely hardworking.
Right.
You know, mom worked 2 jobs. You know, I come from a hardworking background, and I think just the drive to always want more. Like, I knew that I wanted to coach, and I know I couldn't coach at a high level in Scotland because there are no professional coaches in Scotland. There's one pro coach in Scotland. There's one pro team. So then I went to Spain, and I said, well, this is awesome, but I want to coach on the highest stage. And you know, everybody's going to tell, well, you know, how's a little Scottish guy going to coach a Division 1 basketball? And I'm going to try and make it happen. So I sacrificed a little early because when you're 19 and you leave your entire family to go to Spain,
yes,
okay, it's only a short flight, but you're still leaving your entire family to go and chase your dreams, and it's really scary. And it's, you know, there's days where you go, what the heck am I doing? What am I doing here? But there's also days where you say, no, I'm going to keep going because I'm a step closer. So I think sacrifice a lot, see my family work hard, and just believing the impossible, believing, you know, it's such a cliche, you know, that the impossible is impossible till it's possible.
Yep.
You know, until it's
a tongue twister.
Never,
I can't say that.
So I think our sport especially is filled with great stories. You know, like Morgan Williams right now is maybe the best story in our game.
Point guard at Mississippi State.
Mississippi State hit the game winner to knock off UConn and break the streak. I don't know. I got off track of your question a little bit.
No, that's all right. That's right. But so moving. I mean, and there are a lot of people. There'll be a lot of viewers out there who are afraid of moving. They're afraid of taking that next step. And you took a few steps. I mean, from Scotland, not speaking Spanish, to Spain for 3 years. Right. Learning, very fluent.
Right.
And then moving to another country.
Right. Yeah.
How? Not even how, but what would you tell people who are afraid of taking that step?
First of all, I ask you, how bad do you want it? Because I think everybody says they want it, just like our players, you know, not our players, but you know, the players in our game, they all say they want to be great, but how great do you want to be? How bad do you want it? How much does it burn inside? Because you can't do it all, especially when you're young. You know, when you're 40 and you've maybe landed that head coaching job, and you know, then you can settle down, you maybe get married, you maybe have kids, but early you do have to sacrifice something. How bad do you want this? I would say anything is possible. I would say you have to outwork, you know, the majority, if not everyone else, in your situation. But yeah, how bad do you want this? Because if you kind of want it and you go to Final Four, for example, there's a lot of opportunities to go out and eat. There's a lot of opportunities to go out and, you know, sleep until 11.
Right, there are.
And miss the round tables and miss the learning opportunities. But how much do you really want to do this?
Yeah, I think that's huge.
That's the first question, rather than advice. And if you want it so bad, you'll find a way.
There are two things. Melanie Robbins wrote this book, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And she talks about we are in 2 stages of our life every single day. We are either on autopilot, you know, and it's that time when, I don't know if it's ever happened to you, I know it's happened to me. I'm driving, I get in the car, I'm driving, and then 30 minutes later I get home and I'm like, wait a second, how'd I get home?
I did that, yeah.
Right? There's autopilot and then there's drive. And in that drive part, when you are intentional, you actually make new habits, you push yourself to get it. How much, like, do you know, in terms of self-reflection, are you in drive mode or the other mode?
That's a great question as well. I get real distracted. I'm real ADD. I get really distracted, and I think sometimes your weaknesses are your strengths, because I'll get distracted and think of 7 things at once, but then all of a sudden I'll just look over here and I'll be, do you know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like I used to watch Dr. House, and you know, House, the TV show.
That was a good show.
And he'll be doing something, talking to someone, and then he'll just leave. Wait a minute. I just thought of something.
That is you, actually.
No, that is very much me.
Yeah.
Not the genius.
Done that several times.
Not the genius part, but a squirrel, and then I'll be like, wait, that out of bounds play. If we got it like that, you know, if we just curl her and then, you know, do this, I do that a lot. So I live my life. I don't know what zone I'm in. I don't know if I'm driving autopilot. I don't know if I'm in front seat, back seat.
Yeah.
I might have been late to the car. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
In all your different countries you worked in, what are some leadership nuggets that you've picked up that you've incorporated within yourself?
I think playing and having different roles on a team definitely helps. I've been the guy that starts. I've been the guy that doesn't get to play. And I think it's always a strength of mine has been always having a great relationship with our last player.
Okay.
I think it's really
that's good.
I think it's really important.
Oh, say it again.
It's important to have a really good relationship with the last player on your team.
Last player. Okay.
Meaning, if someone doesn't, you're 12th man, you're 15th, your kid that's hurt, you have to for their sake and for the team chemistry's sake, because that's the first kid that's going to complain.
Right.
I'm good to play.
Right.
Maybe we have 14 kids that dress out and 13 play. How's that one kid? She knows she didn't get in the game. Nobody else remembers that she didn't get it, but she knows and I know.
Right.
How's your relationship with her or him?
So relationship is a big part of leadership.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, because you're so influential, and we forget sometimes how influential we are in these people's lives. Especially kids that are growing up, maybe they don't have, a parent in their life. Maybe they've been through some stuff you don't even know about, but they'll look at you in a way that you'll never fully understand.
Yeah.
And some of them will really, really look up to you as a figure in your life, and some won't as much, but you don't know.
Right.
So you got to be there for them all just in case.
Yeah.
I think. So I've always, I still Facebook once a month, once every 2 weeks with the last player on my team, my first team in Spain.
Yeah.
We still talk.
Yeah.
I still check up on him, and he's a kid that he really didn't play a lot for us.
Right.
I think that's important. That's just one little nugget.
Well, I think you're building that, and I know you do that a lot at Troy right now, and I think talking to other coaches and just other people in businesses, and in their regular life, it's the intention to understand your audience, which is what you're doing, right? When you understand your audience, then you know how to attack it.
Yeah.
You can't communicate to everybody the exact same way. The message can be the same, but how you approach it is different.
Yeah, definitely. I'm big on that. I'm big on knowing how to interact with people, because I know that I wasn't. You could yell at me in a sense that you needed me to work harder.
Yeah.
But I was never a player that you could. Well, I was never much of a player anyway.
Right.
Let's be clear. But knowing.
Both, Neil. It's all right.
I was never a person that you could have yelled at. And if I miss a layup and you're cursing me out for missing a layup, I'm gonna throw the next one off the backboard. I'm just not gonna make it.
Right.
Now, if I'm not going hard, you can curse me out for that, and I'll go hard because I think I'm a hard worker.
So pressure's a
pressure, and people react to pressure in different ways, and you have to tune into. We have a point guard, and I think we're really similar. Troy, she's 5 feet on the nose. They listed at 5'3". I don't know who she paid to list at 5'3", but she.
It's a lot of those players.
And she's just a great player to coach because, first of all, I think I understand her really well, and we're really similar. And she's not a player that you can yell at in front of everyone, but you need to know that.
Yes.
Especially for a point guard. So just knowing how to reach people, and I know everybody says these things.
Yes.
Oh, we got to treat people different. Do you though? Right. How much do you work on that? Do you? We got to work really hard. Do you work hard?
Yeah.
We got to, we have to. I'm thinking of more things that people say all the time. I really want this.
Yep.
Do you? Do you though? And I'm not saying you got to do it to the. You don't have to be crazy about it and wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and go to sleep at 1 a.m.
Right.
There's working hard and working smart. But I'm just saying, all these things that people say, there are overused phrases out there for a reason, because they are great phrases, but a lot of us just use them to use them.
Yeah.
Like, we got to everybody reacts to pressure different.
Right.
Which I just said, but do you really bring that into your team and pay attention to it? Because if you don't, you're not going to get the best out of your players.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's so true, because I think a lot of leaders and coaches and managers, we say things like, well, you just got to be better. Like, well, what does that mean? Like, better in what?
Right.
In other parts, I hear all the time is like, well, you just have to be a leader.
Yeah.
But if you don't know how to be a leader, if you've never been taught how to be a leader,
Yep.
then how can you lead?
And what does a leader mean to you?
Yeah.
Like, as well. You got to lead this team.
Right.
Like you said. How?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Teach them.
Yeah.
Teach them, man, that's powerful. I love all your experiences being in all these different countries, seeing how it is. I got last 2 questions for you, right? So the first one is probably one of the most important questions I'll ask. When they make the Neil Harrow movie,
right,
who plays Neil?
Denzel Washington.
Denzel.
That's my favorite guy. That's my guy, though.
Well, I mean,
who plays Neil?
Fine.
I don't think it matters, because I don't think anyone would watch it. It might be more of like a commercial.
You have just skated just right by that question. Come on. Pick someone.
Pick someone to play. That's a great question.
Maybe Colin
Colin
Farrell? Or no? One of the Collins.
Colin Farrell, I think.
I mean, who would you want? You like when you watch the big screen? Tony Stark. How about that?
No. Gosh, that's a great question. I'm going to stick with Denzel, I think.
Well, we're going to stick with Denzel. I'm sure we're going to get comments on the bottom.
I'm sure we are going to get
Denzel.
Wait a minute. No, I don't. That's a great question.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Tom Cruise would play me.
Well, Tom Cruise could play me too.
Tom Cruise, he would be good.
Brad Pitt.
Because
Ocean's 11, that's a great movie. And we always eat. You know, ever notice that in Ocean's 11, Rusty is Brad Pitt's guy?
Always eating.
Always eating. That's me.
That is you. I've seen you.
I knew we were going to get an answer.
Last question, right? So you've been very successful in your life, and
not yet, but
get
in there.
We are winning every single day now, and for successful people or winning people or whatever it is, you have to fall in love with something in your life, that has pushed you further to the next one. What are you in love with?
People.
People.
I love people. I love to win. Let's be honest. Love to win.
People and winning.
I love people.
Okay.
Because everyone has a story.
Right.
I know. Again, this is like the cliche hour, but everyone has a story, and I think we're in this. In my opinion, I'm in this because we can be part of something that you can't create yourself. Mm-hmm. Like the feeling you get when you win a championship with a team. The reason you wear a ring is not to wear a ring; it's what it signifies. Mm-hmm. Like we don't order rings because I want a ring per se. I want something that reminds me every day of how we got it. Yeah. If that makes sense. The relationships we built, and I think it's the people. You come to the Final Four. What's the best thing about the Final Four? Seeing people that you haven't seen in a year.
Right.
And you hug them and you go, I remember the time when. So we're blessed because we get to create these memories and create these relationships. A lot of people don't get to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I love.
That's awesome. Neil, I appreciate you, man. You're great. You are a light and you're contagious, brother.
Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of Be Contagious. Hopefully you gained some valuable lessons because I certainly did. Do me a favor, there's boxes all over the place, but go ahead and click this button right here. It's yellow. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have over 60 plus videos that can help you get to another level. Want to join the Be Contagious movement? Click on the box right up there with the letters A, B, and C. Sign up for our newsletter so that every single month you can go ahead and get the juice you need to be contagious for the people around you. And don't forget, click this box right here for some more great footage, advice, nuggets, or just someone to talk to on one of our many great videos on Always Be Contagious. Remember, you are great, you are a light, and you have the power to be contagious for the people around you.